So hello and welcome back, girls. Now we will be moving on to your next part in your PowerPoint presentation of the video. That is, this is the part 2C. Okay, part 2, but the C part. Okay, we are done with A, we are done with B. Now this is the C part. Okay, now let's look into the next topic. It says regulatory environment external audit. Now what is regulatory environment external audit? External audit. We know that is something to do with your auditor who is external, and it is abiding by the rules and regulations. Okay, so a compliance audit, under this you have the following points. A compliance audit is a process of comprehensive reviews that focus on organization's commitment. Okay, it is basically a comprehensive review, overall review that is focusing on organization's commitment to set a regulatory guideline. Okay, basically it says that you are taking into consideration a overall commitment of the organization. You are setting guidelines as per the rules and regulations. Okay, as per the rules and regulations of the government as to how the auditing has to be carried, what is the information that has to be provided, and what terms and who has to carry the auditing. Or its adherence to specific. Adherence means what? Adherence basically means to abide by the rules and regulations, okay? To a specific contract or terms of an agreement, that you have to abide by the rules and regulations of a particular contract or the terms of the agreement, okay? This is what a compliance audit is a process, which means, okay, the entity doing the audit may differ according to the nature, okay, the entity. Now, why is the entity differing? Because as we told, the size of the business differs, the nature of the business differs, because not organizations will be carrying out the same activity. Different organizations will be carrying out different activities, right? So entity doing the audit may differ according to the nature of the organization, the scope of the audit. It might be done by a public accountant, if finance and assets are concerned, a security expert for security related compliance audits, or IT consultant for IT infrastructure and other related compliance audit. Now it depends on who has to do the auditing. It could be a chartered accountant, or it could be any particular person from the company who is an expert, or it could be a senior person who is doing the auditing, or anything who has a subject matter expertise in that particular field, okay, who is a subject matter expertise, who is who is an expert in finance, who is expert in accounts, etc. They can carry out the auditing as per the rules and regulations. Now next you have management systems audit includes, okay, the management system audit includes the following things, that is, identify and control the environmental impact of its activities, products or services. Now you need to identify, okay, what are your activities, what are your products and your services, and how are they benefiting the environment, how are they benefiting the society at large, whether they are harmful to the environment or whether they are benefiting to the environment, etc. Based on that, you need to identify. Next is improve its environmental performance continuously. Okay, you need to make sure that whatever products and services you have, you need to continuously improve the performance. Okay, then implement a systematic approach to setting environmental objectives and targets, to achieving these and to demonstrating that they have to be achieved. Okay, you need to make sure whatever whatever you're doing, you need to have a very systematic approach. You need to continuously monitor, you need to continuously achieve the target. Okay, you need to continuously make sure that the targets are being achieved and everything is being working out towards achieving the goals. Next is auditors should plan and perform their audit procedure. Now everything we are talking in terms of audit. Don't sit and think that you plan talking in terms of your products and services. No, we're talking in terms of auditing. Okay, auditing is being done, and what are the basic things that the management has to include while conducting a particular audit. Now, fourth one is auditors should plan and perform their audit procedures and evaluate and report. Okay, they need to make sure that they firstly, what they have to do, they have to plan. What are they planning? They have to plan what is the procedure they want to take up in order to conduct auditing. Based on that, they need to evaluate, okay, whether this particular plan will work or not. Then they have to prepare a report based on whatever result they are getting. Therefore, they also have to recognize the non-compliance by the entity with the law of regulation may materially affect the financial statement. In case if the company is not abiding by the rules and regulations, in case if the company is not following the rules and regulations of the contract or the rules and regulations set by the government, then they have to record all of this, because all of this will affect the financial statements. Okay, so everything has to be done in a very systematic way, which will be done by the auditor. Next is responsibility of directors. Now, what is the responsibility of a director towards auditing? That is basically the responsibility is they should make sure that you are compiling, they have to comply with the rules and regulations. Next is basically you need to make sure that whatever arrangements are there, they are in according with the rules and regulations, and also in case if there is any error or anything, any non-compliance, they need to report. Okay, then to prepare the financial statement, very important, they have to prepare a financial statement and they have to give a true and fair financial statement to the auditor to carry out auditing. Okay, they have to give profit and loss account data, they have to give balance sheet data, etc. Then the following steps may assist the directors in discharging their responsibilities for prevention and detection of non-compliance with the laws and regulations. Meaning to say that in case if there is anything which is happening which is happening wherein they are not abiding by the rules and regulations, all of this information has to be given to the auditor. Okay, under this you have the following points which says maintaining up-to-date register. Up-to-date register is basically your purchase register, your sales register, okay, your vouchers, your receipts, everything it has to be maintained, because all of this will be kept as a data for and information in order to carry out auditing. Okay, it is very important that any organization maintains all of this data and gives it to the auditor while carrying out auditing. Okay, next is monitoring legal requirements and any changes therein, and ensuring that operating procedures are designed to meet the requirements. Okay, making sure that whatever information is provided and whatever the way of auditing is being decided, it is in requirement, it is an operating procedure, and it is meeting all of the requirements. Like basically there'll be people, there'll be certain companies that they will expect certain things from auditing. So auditing should be in such a way that information has to be provided, and whatever is expected, whatever result is expected, based on that everything has to meet the requirements. Okay, then instituting and operating appropriate systems of internal control. Okay, you have to make sure that you're instituting appropriate systems of internal control. Then developing a code of conduct, ensuring employees are properly trained in and understand its provision, maintaining compliance and taking appropriate action in cases of non-compliance. That means to say that every organization will have various departments wherein wherein the employees will be hired, and they will be trained as to how they need to maintain data and how they have to make sure that whatever data they are preparing is in accordance with the rules and regulations of the policies of the organization. Next, you have the reasons for the regulations of auditor. What are the reasons for the regulation of auditor? That is to the working of the auditors. Firstly, the auditors should work towards protecting your public interest, then to maintain dignity of their profession, that is the auditor's profession, then to ensure independence and professional competence. Okay, they have to also ensure that there is independence and professional competence. Okay, now under your public interest you have various points again which I would want you all to refer from your particular PDF, that is textbook. Okay, now to protect public interest, the primary reason is basically the auditor has to protect the public interest. Okay, wherein they are taking, okay, let me show it to you all so that you do not get confused. This is the explanation that you need to look into from your textbook. Okay, wherein protecting public interest means you are giving complete financial information of the organization to the public so that the public knows whether the organization is doing well or if it is going in terms of loss. Then maintaining dignity of profession is basically they should not involve themselves in frauds or they should not take any sort of bribe in order to give fake reports, etc. Then to ensure independence of their professional competence, that is to perform as per the rules and regulation and to perform statutory audit. Statutory audit means to perform as per conduct auditing in terms of the rules and regulations, fulfilling all the rules and regulations. Okay, next you have to you have your mechanism. Mechanism is very important before that. Okay, that is, yeah, basically two topics have been missed from the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, then you have mechanism. Now under your mechanism, the auditor will vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Okay, now what is the mechanism? This is something that you need to by heart and understand. Okay, firstly it includes code of ethics which is issued by the accountancy board, and the auditor must comply with whatever rules and regulations have been given by the accountancy board, that is ACCA, then disciplinary system by accountancy body, national laws such as Companies Act that necessitate certain qualification. That is basically the auditor has to, in case if you have to carry out auditing, and in case if you're called an auditor, you need to have certain qualifications. Then auditing standards, he has to carry out auditing as per the standards. Then peer review is an examination and review of systems and procedures adopted by a member of professional body to ensure the quality of services complying with technical standards. Okay, basically whatever auditing is being done, you have to adopt to a particular procedure which is very professional, and you have to comply with the standards as issued by the particular body. I would want you all to refer to these particular standards. This is as per the ISA article 250. It could be asked in the exams. Okay, you need to know what are the objectives that are given by this particular standards. That is to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding compliance with provision of those laws. That is basically it is saying that whenever you're conducting an audit, you need to gather necessary evidence, you need to gather necessary information before you carry out auditing, in order to disclose the report of the financial statements. Next is to perform specified audit procedures to help identify non-compliance. In case if the company has prepared financial report, that is profit and loss and balance sheet, without complying to the rules and regulations as issued by the government or as issued by the chartered accountant board or the auditing board, then you have to report to all of this. Then the auditor must take this into action, and he needs to write it down in the report saying that the organization has not prepared report as per the rules and regulations. Then to respond appropriately to non-compliance or suspected non-compliance identified during the audit. Okay, in case if the auditor is suspecting there is no compliance of audit of the preparation of reports as per the rules and regulations or anything as such, he needs to mention it during the time of audit. Next is the standard defines the act of non-compliance. What exactly is non-compliance? Okay, now we were looking as non-compliance means not following the rules and regulations. Now what can come under non-compliance? These are the following things. Okay, firstly, it is act of omission. Non-compliance means you are omitting certain information. Now this omission can be intentional or unintentional. Okay, it depends on who has prepared the data and whether it is being done by mistake or if it is done intentionally. Okay, by mistake, that is, it includes transactions which include the name of the entity, okay, management, employees, etc. Okay, you have a lot of things that are mentioned here, which I would want you to just read. Okay, then next is some laws or regulations have provision with direct effect on financial statements because they determine the reported amounts and disclosure required in an entity's financial statement. Okay, by sometimes the organization will prepare financial accounts, okay, that is profit and loss accounts, etc., but they will not give a complete detailed explanation as to why they are deducting certain amount, where is the profit, why how they have got so much profit, etc. Okay, that is one thing. The next one is some entities operate in heavily regulated industry while others are subject to only to the many laws and regulations operating under aspects. Okay, whereas basically there will be certain companies which will have to abide by a lot of rules and regulations, wherein other companies will be having only minimum rules and regulations. So this could also be one of the non-compliance problem, okay, wherein they will forget to comply themselves with a particular rules and regulations because of it could be intentional or unintentional. Next is non-compliance with laws, rules and regulations, if you're not complying with the rules and regulations, it could lead to the company paying fines, litigation, or anything else. Next, consequences for the entity that may have material effect on the financial statement. Okay, the company might also have to face necessary consequences on the basis of financial statements. Next, you have the responsibility of compliance of laws and regulations. Now, who has to comply with the rules and regulations and who has to comply with the... Now, moving on to your next topic, you have responsibility for compliance with laws and regulations. Now, whose responsibility is it to comply with the laws and regulations? Okay, firstly, it is the responsibility of the manager. Next, it is the responsibility of the auditor. Okay, now what is the responsibility of the management? Now, management responsibility is basically you need to make sure that whatever rules and regulations are there, whatever operations are carried out in the organization are as per the rules and regulations of the are carried out as per the rules and regulations. Okay, in case if you're preparing financial reports, profit and loss account, etc., everything has to be done as per the rules and regulations. Okay, next is responsibility of the auditor. What is the responsibility of the auditor? He needs to identify if there is any fraud, if there is any anything which is done in any misstatement which is done intentionally or unintentionally, if there is non-compliance of rules and regulations. Okay, or in case if there is in case if the auditor is not responsible for preventing any non-compliance and cannot be expected to detect non-compliance with all rules and regulations. Now at times the auditor has to check all of this, and the auditor has to report if there is any non-compliance of rules and regulations by the organization. The next is the auditor is responsible for obtaining reasonable assurance that his financial statement as whole are free from material misstatement. Okay, he needs to make sure that whatever reports have been prepared are authentic, they do not consist of any fraud or error. In case if the auditor finds any sort of error or fraud which is done on an intentional basis, then you will have to face the penalty, or you will have to there will be a legal proceeding which will be carried on. Then next, in the context of laws and regulations, the potential effects of inherent limitations of auditors' ability to detect material misstatements are greater for the following reasons. Now how can the auditor detect the material misstatements? First, many laws, rules and regulations typically do not affect the financial statements. Okay, firstly, most of the rules and regulations do not affect the financial statements and are not captured by the entity's information system to relevant financial reporting. Next, non-compliance may also involve acts designed to conceal it, such as collusion, forgery. Okay, forgery, what is forgery? Basically, you are forging someone else's signature, or deliberately recording wrong transaction. Suppose if you have a credit of 15,000, you will keep a credit of 50,000. Okay, this is forgery or material misstatement. So this is all this comes under non-compliance of the report, which will be recognized by the auditor. Now next, you have supervisory power, responsibilities and functions of auditor. Now what are the rules functions of the auditor? Firstly, responsibility, objectives and power. Next, you have okay, now under your responsibility, objective and power, basically here you have to have a clear supervision. Okay, that is clear objectives, clear roles and responsibilities. Okay, and who is the authority who is involved in the supervision of bank. Okay, bank account, who is responsible to maintain the organization's bank account, who is responsible to pay for the salaries of the employees, etc. All of this objectives and powers are taken into consideration. Next is cooperation and collaboration. Cooperation and collaboration of rules and regulations, your laws. Okay, like providing a proper framework in order to implement your organization policies, etc. Next is you have your supervisory approach. Now under your supervisory approach is basically an effective system of banking supervision. Okay, now here it basically says that you're identifying and assessing risk. Okay, identifying and assessing risk based on before, and you're intervening early before any sort of risk is arising. Now, supervisory techniques and tools is nothing but supervisor is using an appropriate range of techniques. Okay, he will use necessary tools and techniques in order to carry out the supervisory approach and to deploy. Deploy means implement his approach based on whatever risk has arisen and how he has to mitigate that particular risk. Then you have your supervisory reporting. Now what is the supervisory reporting? Basically, he will collect whatever information is there, he will review and provide that particular information, that is banks consolidated statements. Then he verifies the reports, okay, based on whatever reports are given by the external experts. Next is corrective and sanctioning powers of the supervisors. Now correction and sanctioning powers of the supervisors are nothing but at an early stage, okay, before any sorts of risk arises, before any sorts of problem arises, the supervisor will adapt to a range of supervisory tools. He will have necessary tools, which will he will also have the bank license, okay, for revocation, that is cancellation. In case if the bank is carrying out any fraudulent activities, or if they're not maintaining the activities properly, then he has the sanctioning power of bank license also. He can revoke the bank license also. Okay, the next is internal control and audit. Internal control and audit is basically wherein the supervisor has an effective control on the framework. Okay, he can establish a properly controlled environment, and he will have most of the responsibility on how the organization is working, or the business is functioning. After which you have financial reporting and external audit. Financial reporting and external audit is again a supervisory function wherein you are preparing a financial report based on whatever the rules and regulations are there, based on the accounting policies, practices, etc. And you are carrying out the external audit. Next is disclosure and transparency. That is disclosing of information. That is, and there should be proper transparency. That is, everything should be fair. It should not be, you should not have any fraudulent activities, or there should be no forgery or misappropriate recording of any wrong statements. Everything has to be correct. Then abuse of financial services. Abuse of financial services is basically wherein you are not following any rules and regulations, or it could be that you are carrying out any criminal activity, or you are carrying out any fraud or forgery. Okay, this is abuse of financial services. So with this we come to an end with this particular topic. Now internal auditor, as I told you all, there are two types of auditor, that is mechanism to control auditors. Auditor is basically a person whom a company is appointing in order to carry out an auditing or to execute an auditing. The auditor should be basically a person who's been certified by regulatory authority. Okay, he is a person who's been certified by a regulatory authority of accounting and auditing, or possesses certain specified qualification. He is an auditor. Auditor is basically a particular person who is appointed by the company to carry out auditing, who will have necessary qualifications which are required in order to carry out a particular auditing. Next, you have types of auditors. Types of auditors are external auditor or statutory auditor and internal auditor. Okay, so basically external auditor or the statutory auditor, he is being appointed by the organization, and he is basically given the complete information about the company's financial statements, or whatever information is there in order to carry out the auditing. And basically this particular auditor can be appointed by the company. He is an outsider who will be appointed by the company to carry out the auditing. Internal auditor is basically the particular person who will be from within the particular organization. He will have the necessary qualifications also, and he will be the person from the within organization who will be carrying out the particular auditing. Okay, then internal controls of audit and migrating, we will be doing it in the next video presentation. Thank you for watching, girls.